Who knows when it's
Who knows how long it was off?
Not that long, because I looked up like a minute ago.
Good job, Carrie. So that's the reason I tell you guys to use the stuff that we learn every week that week. Okay? Because the more you use it, the more you're going to remember, the more it's going to come just kind of secondary.
Thus, F2 opens the speaker list.
So when you want to define something and say it's a speaker identification, highlight it, comes up, you know what, I've already kind of defined it, or you know what, I need to put it in my speaker list. Speaker list is F2. Write that down. F2 brings up your speaker list. So all of your speakers that you're going to have for that hearing will come up, whether it be the witness, the court, Mr. Griffin, Mr. Burge, whatever it is. All of your speakers are going to be in there. Okay? That's F2. And you can go into a job and kind of mess around with it, hit F2, and it should bring up your speaker list. So if you've already put it in there, or you need to put it in there, then you can highlight it, bring up your speaker list, say, you know what, I need to put it in there. Put it in there, hit OK, it already puts it in there. It's going to bring it in here because you just put it in. So the last one you put in there, it's going to put in here. So it's gonna drop this box down, it's going to bring it right here. Say you wanted it to be Mr. Burge, you type in Mr. Burge, it's going to put Mr. Burge right here. It's already going to know to put it in the brackets. It should already know to do that. Put it in the brackets. It's going to ask you if you want to put it in your main. No, you do not. You want to put it in a job dictionary because you just want it for that job. You don't want it every time that it comes up screw that it's going to come up Mr. Burge, because unless Mr. Burge is your only client and you're taking depositions for him all the time, you don't want that defined in your main. Okay? Any questions about that?
You can choose a name that's already there or insert a new one. F3 inserts the...
See how it brings it up? Back up a little bit.
F3.
See how it brings it up? He had just put the entry Mrs. Green. He selected Mrs. Green. You don't really have to select it because it was a new speaker. So he typed in Mrs. Green. It's always going to put the last one that you put in there. Puts it in there, already knows what to do with it because it knows that it's a speaker identification because you just went to your speaker list and picked out a speaker from there. Do not want it in your main. It's always usually going to come up that it's going to put it in your main because it always, 99% of the time, thinks that you want to define it and put it in. So it's always thinking that it wants to put things in your main dictionary. So it's usually always going to come up main. You don't want something like that in your main. You want it in a job dictionary. Okay?
In other words, you always have to change the default on the main dictionary. On the main dictionary, you want to change the default.
Yeah.
It's down to that default. To make
So the command for that is Control J. Control J is job dictionary. Control T, trash dictionary. Control M is main dictionary. Okay?
E inserts the symbol for a question, and F4.
So if you want to come in here and you want to, say you were trying to hit the question symbol, then this is how it's telling you to do it. Control Q, Control period, brings in the period, Control P. You can kind of do it several different ways, but it's kind of telling you, and these are kind of the shortcuts. You can put the comma, any of that stuff, or you use the controls, okay? Control whatever puts it in there. It already knows to put the brackets. It already knows to do it. So if you come in here and you just push period, it's just going to put a period there. It's not going to know what to do with it. It just knows to put a dot right there. It doesn't know that you're wanting to define it as a period. Okay? But when you do control, period, then it knows. Then it knows to set it up. Brackets, question, brackets. It already knows what to do. You don't have to say, you know what, bracket, return, question, tab over, capitalize the next. You don't have to do all that, guys. This is all you have to do. With those brackets, the software knows what to do. It already knows how to set it up and everything. You don't have to do all of that stuff. You don't have to worry about whether it's gonna, return it to the next line, put it on a fixed line, put the Q, tab over, capitalize. You don't have to do any of that. It already knows what to do by setting it up correctly. If you don't set it up correctly and you just put a Q right there, all it's going to think is that that's your symbol for capital Q. That's it. Then you just messed it up. You can go back and fix it. It's not like it's not fixable, but you're going to have to go back and fix it. So very important on those brackets. Very important.
An answer. To insert the symbol for a comma, press Control comma. Likewise, Control period. For a quick question mark, press Control slash. There's also Control semicolon and Control colon, which would involve the Shift key. Control tilde inserts the symbol for...
Y'all know what this is, the tilde? Y'all know what that does?
It's the thing that goes over the onion.
Very good. No.
Well, that's what it looks like.
And it is in a different situation. When used right here, what it's doing is it's telling it to put it with whatever word you have before that. To put the two words together before this and after this. So if you have Mrs. Griffin, and say you're at the end of the line and it has Mrs. Griffin, no. Always needs to go together. Dr. So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, Colonel so-and-so, whatever. Now, if they just said doctor, it wouldn't really matter because that's going to be capital D, O-C-T-O-R, if they're talking directly to the doctor. Now, if they're just talking about a doctor, it doesn't matter. That's just small d. Well, the doctor came and looked at the patient. Well, doctor, which doctor was it? Because they're taking the deposition of another doctor. Y'all know what I'm talking about there? Yeah. Really important to get those correct because when you're talking to somebody who is a doctor, it's capital. When you're talking about somebody and you're telling their name, Dr. Smith, D-R, period. It's not capital D-O-C-T-O-R Smith. Y'all know that. I mean, right?
Yes.
And if you don't, that's okay. But that's the way you set it up. This, what it does, knows to put it together. So when you have Mrs., that's the way you want to set it up. Okay? So it'll be Mrs. outside, tilde, and then whatever. Does that make sense? Okay. That's what the tilde does.
Or a lock space. However, if you have an entire phrase whose words you want to keep together, you can use the lock button. Press the lock.
See, and that's pretty neat. Because if you have, a situation where you're talking about a specific store, it's at the door store. So those need to go together because it's the name of a certain store. So when you define it, this is the way you're going to define it. Because you don't want at the door store. Okay? Let me get it. You don't want it to be at the end of the sentence and then door store at the beginning of the sentence. You want it all together because it's a specific store. The Container Store. You would put that in there also. You have to define it correctly, guys. Define it correctly. It knows to put it together None of this is going to come out. None of this comes out in the transcript. That's how you define it, and it knows to put it together, and it makes it 4 different words, but it always keeps it together. Make sense? Very important on how you define it. That's how you define it.
Lock button again, and you'll get hyphens.
So if you want to if you want to hyphenate it, this is the way you do it. On the lock button, when you're defining it, the lock button is going to put the tilde first. You hit the lock button again, and it's going to give you the dash. Hit it again, and it'll take them off. So mess around with that a little bit when you're messing around on a transcript or something. Highlight like a 3 or 4 word, 3 or 4 words, and then kind of define it. Define it what it is. Whatever it is. And it may come up. It may give you the drop down box, and it may say, say you hit the 4 words, at the door store. Well, it's going to come up. It's going to come up at the door store. Is that what you want? Yes. Press 1. It puts at the door store, and then just push lock and see what happens. And just kind of mess around with it. You don't have to put it in your dictionary. You can put it in a job dictionary. You can put it in a trash dictionary, just to see how it comes up when you define it that way. But this is what it does. Okay?
Press it a 3rd time to get back to regular spaces. It's a bunch of shortcuts, but it can really save you time.
Any questions about that section? Okay, here it's telling you how to define like a speaker. So say you're hitting Bob for Mr. Robertson. Okay? Here it's telling you that all you have to do is put the cursor here, hit Alt 7, because that means highlight two strokes. Or you can just push Control G twice. Whatever you want to do. Alt 7 is the shortcut. Control G twice highlights both of them. Doesn't really matter. You want it as a speaker identification. You want it to be defined as Mr. Robinson, or whatever, Mr. White, Black, Jones, whatever. And they all need to be, defined. But you want Bob to be Mr. Robertson. Push F2, brings up your speaker list. Type in Mr. Robertson. Hit enter. It's going to put it in your box of where you define Bob. It's already going to know to set it up with the brackets, with the S, capital S colon, meaning that it's a speaker, and then hit Control J because you're going to want it in a job dictionary, and then it sets it up as Mr. Robinson, already tabbed over in Colloquy. Okay? Let me get into something. This is colloquy. That's what that's called. When they're just talking. It's not a question, answer, anything, whatever. It's just, the guys talking about whatever. And they may be asking questions of each other, but it's not a question answer format. If they're questioning a specific witness, then it would be question answer. But if they're just asking general questions of the court and the other attorneys, then this is what it's set up as, and this is colloquy. So with that S, with the brackets, with the S, colon, whatever, that, it already knows to do that. It already knows to tab over, put it on a different line, tab over, set it up like this, colon, over, next word is capped. It already knows to do that just by setting it up that way. Okay? That's colloquy right there.
You said the bracket it is, right? Bracket and it is inside.
Bracket, capital S, colon, and then whatever you want it defined as.
It's not the bracket though, it's the squiggly one.
That's the bracket right there. That's called a bracket.
No, it's not. It's called something else.
What's it called?
The bracket is the square one.
Okay. Here we're gonna call it a bracket.
It's not a I'll look it up. Google.
In the police academy, they can call it whatever they want.
Actually,
Here.
Mr. Hopkins called it something, but I forgot.
Yeah. What is it?
I got it. I actually got what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I got it down.
Okay, right here they're giving you kind of the example of what they just said up there. So you put Alt,
You put it in front, right?
yeah, but you need to be in hyperkeys. So you've highlighted both Bobs. See that? Highlighted both Bobs right there.
Braced.
There you go.
A brace?
Brace.
Okay.
Why did you hit?
So the brackets are.
Sorry.
What's that?
Go ahead. Steve.
What?
So how did you do that? Please?
How did I get this?
Yeah.
You highlight it. Put your cursor right here. You can push Control G twice. Highlights it. Brings up the box. So all you're doing is going to define something. Are you in the tutorial? Put your bracket there. On Bob. Push Control G twice.
It's because on her she doesn't have her steno notes, so it tells her that there's no steno tracking marker.
You know, go further down.
Fix this.
Go further down. Scroll down a little. Right there on Bob. Yeah. One more time.
Thank you.
It's going to bring up this box right here. Okay? F2 brings up your speaker list. Well, you want it defined as capital. Mr. Robertson.
You just have
Yeah. Press OK. See how it set it up? The last entry that you put in there, it's going to know to put in the last entry. Are you guys following along? I got it? Are doing something else or what? Okay. It already knows what to do. It already set it up. I didn't have to put any of this stuff in here. None of it. None of the brackets, the S, colon, anything. I didn't have to put any of that. You don't want it in your main. It's giving you the option to put it in your main. I don't want it in my main. Control J puts it in a job dictionary.
You didn't, did you hit lock or you didn't?
No,
You didn't press lock.
no. The lock does the tilde and the hyphen only.
So when I hit Control J, it went away. Is that what it's supposed to do?
And set it up just like this.
Yeah, that's what it did.
That's what it did. That's what it got. You got it. Okay? So here, yeah.
Is there anything to indicate, like, say you've been editing a transcript and you add some things to your main dictionary, some things to your trash dictionary, some things to your job dictionary, right? Is there anything to indicate like when you're reading through it, what's in what dictionary?
No,
No. Okay.
no. It's, I don't think there's really a way to go in there. We'll have to wait till we get to the lesson, to the dictionary's lesson, but I don't think there is. I mean, honestly, I don't know why you would want to know, but if you ever have, like, say you went in here and you're like, you know what, I don't know if that's in my dictionary or not. All you have to do is highlight it, press F9, ask you for your dictionary. You press yes, it goes in there, and it tells you what it was defined as.
Okay.
So if you bring up your main dictionary and it's in there, then it's in your main dictionary. That's how you'll know.
Okay.
Okay? So if you ever have a question about whether it's in your main dictionary or not, highlight whatever it is. You can type so. You don't even have to highlight. You just put your cursor right there, F9. You know what? I want to open that. Say this is my main dictionary right here. Press OK, and it tells you. That's what it's defined as, or whatever.
Okay. Gotcha.
Got it? All right. Are you guys in this tutorial?
Yeah.
Everybody's in?
I can't open it for some reason. When I go to where it says lessons and I click on it, nothing happens when
That's what
I
was happening to
Let's
most
go
of
to
the
do it.
clips in my computer.
For what?
first of all, lesson player won't come up.
Number 2.
And so then when I go to, what did I do?
Mr. Roberts.
Go back in.
I think I did install lesson, but then when I click on it, it will come up. What is this?
No, put it on Class A. Click on Class A.
Your
And then
other
hit
arm
Shift
back.
down.
Oh, I have to add them again.
Yeah. Oh, pick that last one. Go up to the top.
No.
Class A. And then shift that down. Take the last one out. Enter. And then come under help. You know what? Get out of that right there. Get out of that whole thing right there.
This?
Yeah. It might be because you ran another job. Go back in. Do you have empty copies right
There it goes. Uh-uh.
Here it is.
You're so slow.
Yeah, massage.
I know. That'd be nice. Yeah, spa day.
I found a place that does that for like $60 an hour. I think I'm gonna do it just because I can.
So I have to reinstall?
Lesson
And
card.
then I just tell my kids.
Oh, okay. Alright, thank you.
Now go down to where we are. Just
Oh. You want me actually learn?
I want you guys doing the stuff we want you doing it so that you know how to do it. Does everyone have their lesson player open like this? I want you guys doing this because I want you to know how to do it. I want you to know what it looks like and everything. Okay? So the next one we're going to do is black, black. Okay? Control G twice. Everyone have it? Brings up this box. You see the box? Y'all have it? Talk to me, guys. If you don't, tell me. Control G on black twice. You got it? It brought this up. You have it?
Yeah.
Does she have it?
Line 21.
Got it? me know when you have it.
Oh, okay.
While we're waiting, what time does your course start?
We call the docket at 9 o'clock.
No.
So if I can get there about, yeah, 8:30,
So then we need
8:45.
to meet here. He wants us to meet here at 8 or.
8:15.
She said 8:15, but we might
So we should
shoot
probably
for
be
8.
here at 8.
I think 8 o'clock.
You got it?
I'm not good.
Oh, they control the price? Okay.
Yeah, especially at night. I was